Hey, my angels and demons. Welcome back to Sun, Moon, and Rising Tarot. All right, so today we're going to do a timeless love reading. Okay, so if you found it, right, congratulations. Let's see what we got. No zodiac signs, no pick a pile. Just listen and notice what reacts in your body, okay? So this reading is for anyone dealing with confusion, mixed signals, maybe unfinished emotional business. Maybe or a connection that refuses to fully die or fully commit. I mean, you know the situation, right? So we're asking, how do they really feel versus, what they're actually doing. And yes, sometimes those are two completely different stories. We're using the Arcane Tarot deck. If you're curious, beautiful deck. Okay. As always, in this reading, it's general. Take what resonates, take what's yours, leave the rest. And please remember, tarot reveals energy, not excuses. All right, so let's get into it. We're going to get right into this reading. All right, let's grab it, right? Oh, this is interesting. Two of Cups right at the beginning. So this connection was real. For those of you who are sitting there wondering if it was even real or if they were faking it the whole time, that's not the question, right? So right away, this tells me this connection wasn't imagined. You didn't make it up. You weren't projecting into the void. And the Arcane Tarot deck, these two cups, you notice how they're both looking into the cup. They're facing each other, right? So they're exchanging cups equally. And please excuse the husky in the background. It's playing with this chew joy. So there is balance, right? There's mutual recognition. There's emotional symmetry, right? That's what's important about this card. This card also represents mutual attraction, definitely an emotional acknowledgement and genuine connection. All right. So if you're ever wondering that, no, it was real. All right. Well, don't start telling yourself it wasn't. So if you've been gaslighting yourself, like maybe I read it wrong, maybe it wasn't that deep. No, it was that deep. The problem isn't the feeling. The problem is what happened after the feelings showed up, okay? So this was a moment where both of you saw each other, like really saw each other. And for some people, that's terrifying, okay? For you, it may not have been, but maybe for them it was. Because intimacy doesn't just offer love, it exposes wounds. And that's what it was. I feel everybody's always afraid of, is exposing their wounds to the next person. Because they don't want to scare them away. They don't want to, make them think that they're crazy. But let's grab the next card to see what's, let's see. Oh, okay, the Knight of Cups in reverse. All right. So they feel a lot. They really do. This is Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy, by the way. So they do feel a lot, and they feel deeply, but then they just don't follow through. Okay. And that's an issue, right? So emotion, yeah, definitely. Consistency, absolutely not. All right. That's why maybe some of you have been experiencing so hot and cold. That's why. All right. So upright, right? This knight is romantic, expressive, and idealistic. But in reverse, he's still emotional, but emotionally chaotic. All right. Not balanced in any way. So this is someone who feels deeply in private, all right, fantasizes about the connection, knows what love should look like, but struggles to embody it in reality. Okay, they struggle to embody it in reality. They may come in hot emotionally, then disappear. Say the right things, then do nothing. How about this one? Confess feelings and then retreat. We've all been there, right? This is the energy of I care, but not enough to change my patterns. Okay, so the problem is not you. It really is. When someone says to you, "It's me, not you," I hate that lame phrase, but it's true. It's true. So, what I want you to take away from this is that I want to be very clear here, because some of you need to hear this, right? Someone needs to hear this. Someone can have real feelings for you and still not be capable of loving you properly. Okay? Please listen to what I just said. Someone can have real feelings for you and still not be able or capable of loving you properly. Right? Those two things can't coexist, but it's painful, right? So this card says that they're led by emotion but not responsibility. And love without responsibility becomes what? Confusion. That's why you were asking yourself, was this real? Was it not? Did I imagine it? No, you didn't. All right, let's grab the next card. Okay, Seven of Swords. Alrighty. So what they're not saying matters more than what they are saying. I want you to listen to that, right? What they are not saying matters more than what they are saying. So the Seven of Swords, this is a very powerful card because in a traditional deck, someone's sneaking away with these swords, right? Glancing over their shoulder. But in this deck, it still means the same. All right, it's secrecy, avoidance, and strategic silence. So they're intentionally being silent. This doesn't always mean like lying outright. I'm not saying they're a liar. Please don't go attacking someone. It just means that sometimes it's withholding. And if you consider that lying, then you do, but they're just not saying a lot, right? So what they may not be telling you is how confident they are or conflicted they are, right? They're probably confident in the fact that they love you, or at least think they love you. But the problem is they're conflicted. They're probably not telling you how afraid they are of this commitment, or better yet, how much control they need to feel, they need to feel safe. Right? This person's been through it, haven't we all, though, right? So instead, they manage the situation, right? Like a manager. They reveal just enough to keep you engaged, right? The breadcrumbs, but not enough to be vulnerable. So this card comes up when someone avoids honesty because honesty would require accountability. And let me tell you, in relationships, some people are deathly afraid of accountability. All right. And for some of you, this hurts because you've been patient, right? You are emotionally available. You're willing to talk things through. You really are. While they've been evasive and avoiding you. Okay. But the Seven of Swords asks, right? This card asks, what are they protecting? Their heart or their comfort? Because those two are not the same thing. Okay. And sometimes when you have someone who's this distant, they're working through it. So you got a version of them where they're still working through it and they haven't figured it out yet. All right. They haven't figured it out yet. Let's grab the next card because I'm curious. Oh, attraction, the devil card. This is what this means. Attraction isn't the same as alignment. All right. And they're getting that confused. You're not confused, but they are. This is Capricorn energy, by the way. But attraction isn't the same as alignment, right? Because, and before you panic, right? This is not evil. This is not an evil card. This is attachment, right? This is, in the old traditional card, there's two people who are lightly chained. Lightly. They're not bound. They're lightly chained, which means they can go whenever they want. But they're so attached to this feeling that they don't know what to do, right? They could leave, but they don't. Right, and that's what this devil energy is stating right now. So this card represents obsession, some sexual chemistry, because we've all been there, emotional addiction, but also I want you to pay attention to it because it also means familiar pain. All right, but the devil asks, is this love, or is this attachment fueled by unmet needs? All right, so some of you are bonded through trauma, maybe fantasy. I'm going to keep saying sexual chemistry because that's what it is. For a lot of you, I feel like it was a very physical. Oops, I just bumped my mic. Sorry. It was very physical, and that's where you connected the most, like the best. And for some of you, they'll hope they'll become who you need. All right. The chemistry can feel like destiny when it's just really intense, just passion. It's not. It's not. It's not destiny. All right. But intensity isn't sustainable. You guys know that, right? Can't be hot and on top and on all the time. So the devil shows up when desire is real, but freedom is compromised. So it's time to break those chains. It's time to cut the ties that bind. All right? It's time to cut the ties that bind. This is keeping you stuck in a place where you've outgrown. They're still there, but you're not. You're not. Okay? Let's grab one last card. I'm really curious what the outcome of this all is. I don't want to leave on the devil. Okay. Queen of Swords, air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy. So your clarity is returning. Okay, even though some of you right now are going through the hurt, you got to go through the hurt to see clearer. Okay. So you notice how she sits alone, sword raised. But here's the thing: she's clear-eyed, no illusion, and no romantic fog. Okay, this is you. All right, you're starting to see that the situation as it is, instead of how it could be, right? It's kind of like when you meet someone, you see the potential in them, and you wait for that potential. You wait for that potential, and the potential never comes. That's on you. That's not on them. All right. So the Queen of Swords, she represents emotional maturity, truth over fantasy, and most of all, boundaries over breadcrumbs. All right. She's not bitter. Don't get it twisted. She's just being honest finally, especially with herself. Okay. And honesty can feel cold, right? When you've been surviving on hope that this person will come around. But this card also says that you're done, right? Confusing emotional depth with emotional availability. This person that you're with is just not available, all right? And if you're single and this person's coming in, here's your red flag video so that you can recognize it sooner than, because I feel some of you have been in this relationship for a little while now. And because it's, when am I recording this? December something. After the holidays, before the new year, some of you are feeling like, just going to give him he or her a little bit more time, or they. It doesn't work out. It's not going to work out that way. All right, it's not going to work out that way. But you're learning that love should not feel like guessing. All right, you're going to stop the guessing. All right. So what I want you to take away from this reading is, here's the truth, right? We're going to sum it up gently but clearly. All right. They feel something. They do, but they're not showing it. Okay, they're not showing up in a way that supports real love. And you're outgrowing this. Hello, what do we got here? Here's the queen. Here she is. You're outgrowing this. Right? You're totally outgrowing this version of yourself that waits. Right? So this doesn't mean that the connection was fake. No, it absolutely does not mean that. All right? It does not mean that, because the Two of Cups is here. All right? It does not mean that this was fake, but it means it was incomplete. Right? And that means that a love that's meant to last doesn't keep you anxious, right? It doesn't keep you decoding silence. It doesn't make you question your worth, right? And for some of you, if you're questioning your worth, it's time to exit, right? And if you're struggling to let go, that's human, right? Attachments with this Devil card, right? Attachment doesn't dissolve on command, right? It takes some time to cut that loose. But I really believe that that's why the Queen of Swords popped up here. You have the tool to cut those attachments, all right? So take your time, honor your feelings, but don't abandon yourself to keep someone else comfortable, right? You deserve love that chooses you out loud, all right? So if this reading resonated with you, sit with it for a little bit. You don't have to decide anything today or all at once, right? And if it didn't resonate, that's okay. Tarot isn't law, it's just reflection. Take what's yours and leave behind the rest. But if you did enjoy this reading, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. It helps me grow my channel, and it helps someone else who needs to hear this find this message. All right, you guys. Till next time, peace, angels and demons.